All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariana, and I'm one of the program directors here at Chatteris. So our mission is to raise the English proficiency and self-confidence of Hong Kong's young people, particularly the less privileged, through dynamic interaction with English-speaking university graduates working in creative partnerships with schools. When we conduct reviews with our current partner schools, we ask why they chose Chatteris, and these are some of the main reasons. Firstly, schools explain that the average class size at their school is large, so it's difficult to maximize student talk time in English. This large class size also means that it's difficult for teachers to cater to individual students and their specific needs. Furthermore, busy teachers often report that they do not have as much time as they would like to develop the language activities the students do in the lessons. Outside the classroom, schools tell us that students do not speak much English at all, lacking the opportunity to use the language in a communicative and purposeful way. They also tell us that students do not have many opportunities for cultural exchange. Our solution to overcome these challenges is the Chatteris English Development Program for Schools, which aims to create an engaging English language environment at your school inside and outside the classroom. The program involves the placement of a Chatteris native-speaking English tutor full-time in your school for one academic year from September to May. Our tutors are young and enthusiastic language models for students. Inside the classroom, they support students and local teachers. Outside the classroom, they run interesting and engaging English language activities. And all of this occurs to enhance student motivation, confidence, creativity, and proficiency in English, as well as provide them with valuable opportunities for cultural exchange. As a charity, we are proud this year to have placed over 53 English tutors across 32 schools, impacting more than 25,000 students. And we have been able to successfully deliver this program for over 30 years due to the high quality of our tutors and our dedicated management support. And now I'm going to talk a little bit more about how our program works in practice. And I'd like to start by outlining the qualities of the Chatteris English tutors. Our English tutors are proactive, dynamic, and good role models. They are all recent university graduates from various disciplines who come from different countries and can offer insights into diverse cultural backgrounds. When we recruit tutors, we look for one crucial distinguishing quality. That is, they are deeply committed and passionate about helping Hong Kong students. So how can you deploy Chatteris tutors in your school? Our English tutors can co-teach with local teachers in the classroom, and they can also deliver small group lessons. This enhances the educator-to-student ratio in the classroom, allowing for more student talk time and more opportunity to cater to learner diversity. Furthermore, our tutors can add creative, authentic, and communicative activities to the school curriculum, which help increase student participation in lessons and improve learning outcomes. For example, recently, I personally had the opportunity to observe some highly creative and engaging lessons on Christmas and Chinese New Year celebrations. Our tutors are also dedicated to assisting students outside the classroom. Our tutors create a language-rich environment by engaging students in a wide range of events and activities during recess, lunch, and after school. These informal English experiences cater to student interests, increase motivation to use the language, and aid in the development of intercultural competence and soft skills. The activities range from speaking to students and playing sports and games in English during recess to more structured programs, such as English fun fairs and other themed events. Our tutors also run smaller regular events, such as English cafe and clubs, such as drama and poetry clubs, as well as taking a leading role in English ambassador training, as shown here on the slide. I will now explain how we ensure the high quality of our tutors. First of all, we maintain the high quality of tutors through a rigorous recruitment process. We take care of all administrative requirements, including police, medical, qualification checks, as well as visa sponsorship. And and then all of our tutors attend a 3-week intensive orientation prior to placement in your school to make sure they're well equipped to work alongside Hong Kong students. As well as this, all tutors receive ongoing professional development and support throughout the year, including monthly workshops and on-site training. I will now hand over to Margaret to introduce the Chatteris management team.
Thank you, Mariana. So we have a dedicated team of program managers. But first, I'd like to present you to the executive management team. Our service to partner school is made possible by well-qualified and committed executive team members with experience both internationally and also in Hong Kong, coming from backgrounds in education, educational technology, and also teaching English as a foreign language. And here's the team of our program managers who will support your Chatteris English tutor and your school throughout the year if you're joining the program. One program manager never supports more than 9 schools, so they are always available to help you. We also have a member of staff with expertise in resource development and design, a member of staff with experience in fundraising and development, which allow us to operate a variety of free service for less privileged students and schools, and also as well as an experienced back office team. Chatteris is also supported and guided by an incredibly experienced board of trustees with backgrounds in education, finance, and also HR. We also have a Dr. Yoon Yu Lo today with us in this session. She is an associate professor and also associate dean in the Faculty of Education at Hong Kong University. And we are very pleased to announce that Dr. Lo has recently accepted an invitation to join the Chatteris Board of Trustees. I'll now hand over to Ben to give an overview of the 3 new opportunities for schools.
Thank you, Margaret. So Chatteris is very proud to report that we have 3 new opportunities for schools with a high intake of students from less privileged backgrounds. This is made possible through donations from very kind sponsors. Opportunity 1 is the Chatteris 1-for-1 Adopt a School program. This involves a school using their own funding to pay for 1 Chatteris English tutor, and then receiving a second English tutor free of charge. In essence, buy 1, get 1 free. Opportunity 2 is the Chatteris Empower program. This involves a school using their own funding to pay for a Chatteris English tutor, but instead they will receive a senior Chatteris English tutor, plus 2 Chatteris teaching interns. Opportunity 3 is the Chatteris Summer Level Up Learning Program. This involves Chatteris visiting your school in June, July, or August to deliver fun and engaging 2-hour English language activities for 60 to 120 students at a time, focused on elements such as leadership and drama. I'm going to first of all provide you with some more information about Chatteris 1-for-1 Adopt a School, our, in essence, buy 1, get 1 free program. Under 1-for-1 Adopt a School with a high intake of less privileged students funds 1 Chatteris English tutor, and then a generous donor funds a second English tutor. This combination of 2 energetic and motivated English tutor staff working together will transform the English language environment inside and outside of your classroom. It is important to note that the funding will also include additional opportunities and events for your students free of charge. This might include English sports clubs and activities within your school, hikes on weekends with English-speaking volunteers, interesting guest speakers visiting your school to deliver talks, as well as possible visits by your students to corporate offices to take part in real-life learning activities. Chatteris has a lot of experience delivering these additional learning opportunities for your students. However, we will always require the support of school management to assist in their success. Such support might include local teaching staff helping to arrange parent letters, confirm student attendance, and working with us before the year begins to set dates and times for the various activities to take place. For this reason, we really look carefully at whether the school's management is supportive in these areas for the programme to be successful. Opportunity 2, Chatteris Empower. So, under Chatteris Empower, a school with a high intake of less privileged students funds one Chatteris English tutor, and then a generous donor pays the difference in salary and provides the school with a senior Chatteris English tutor. A senior Chatteris English tutor is someone who has at least 1 year of experience teaching in Hong Kong. The donor will also, however, pay for an additional 2 Chatteris teaching interns to be placed at your school. Chatteris teaching interns for this initiative are ethnic minority Hong Kongers with a sub-degree or higher qualification, high English proficiency, and aspirations to potentially become English teachers in the future. These interns will work closely with your senior Chatteris tutor to run a multitude of different English language activities throughout the school, creating multiple and varied opportunities for your students to use English at recess, lunchtime, and through extracurricular activities. Inside the classroom, the interns will take an assistant role, supporting the English tutor and local teachers as required to maximize the benefit to your students. We really hope that this team of 3 motivated staff working in your school, consisting of the Chatteris tutor and these 2 interns, supported by Chatteris training, resources, and our activities, will help make a transformative difference within your school. Much like One-for-One, Adopt a School, a supportive school management team will be incredibly important when we're selecting schools to receive this funding. Finally, Opportunity 3, Chatteris Summer Level Up Learning Programme. So the Chatteris Summer Level Up Learning Programme provides free English drama workshops, leadership workshops, or English fun fairs for your students. The leadership and drama workshops cater to around 60 students at any one time, and this ideally takes place in your school hall. Your students will be in groups of 10, working very closely with an English-speaking facilitator to play various games and activities in English before taking part in a final task. For leadership, the final task involves teamwork and communication. For drama, this final task involves a mini production. Outside of our leadership and drama workshops, Chatteris also has English fun fairs as part of our Summer Level Up Learning Programme. These fun fairs can cater to up to 120 students at any one time and involves various English game-based booths, and other English activities. Chatteris will lead all activities under this programme, but we will also be joined and supported by English-speaking volunteers from various corporates, such as UBS Bank, who might also assist. These corporations are donors to the programme, and their staff will work with Chatteris tutors to create additional opportunities for your students to use English. We recognise that over the summer period, students from less privileged backgrounds might go for a very long period of time without using English, and also that students engage best with the language when they're using it in small groups and in fun, engaging, and interactive settings. So we hope that these activities will go some way to remedying and supporting this. It's often really easy to overlook the profound educational benefit that non-academic learning activities can have on students, particularly for those who might not usually perform as well in a standard classroom learning environment. We asked 190 students to complete a pre and post survey after participating in an intensive 2-hour leadership event that used English as the medium of instruction in a school hall environment with a ratio of 10 students to 1 Chatteris English tutor. Here are a few examples of the outcomes. When we asked students whether they were confident speaking with native English speakers prior to the leadership course, only 21% agreed that they were confident. After the course, that number jumped to 32.3%. And when we asked students whether they were confident leading a team in English, 8.6% agreed prior to the event that they were confident leading a team in English. After the event, that number rose to 20.3. So, in regards to conclusions and next steps, just to recap. Under the 1-for-1 Adopt a School program, actually, let's take a step back. Under Opportunity 1, you could have a free English tutor in your school under the 1-for-1 Adopt a School program. Your school will pay for one tutor and get one tutor free. Under Opportunity 2, you can have a senior Chatteris English tutor for the price of an English tutor, plus 2 incredibly highly motivated English-speaking Hong Kong interns and future educators. So in essence, it's buy one, get 3 in total. Under Opportunity 3, Chatteris English tutors can visit your school in June, July, or August alongside some corporate volunteers to deliver 2 to 3 hours of fun English activities. Your school is welcome to apply to one or all of these opportunities using the application form, which is going to be shared with you in this chat. Alternatively, we're also going to send all participants a summary email who have attended this event, and you can also use the QR code in the bottom left-hand corner to apply. So you can apply for all 3 of these, or you can apply for just one, whatever jumps out and gets your fancy. Finally, in regards to working with Chatteris, it's really important to note that the number of sponsored programs and free resources we can provide from donors is limited. Perhaps your school caters to more privileged students, so you know that the options listed in terms of option 1, 2, and 3 in this presentation will not be applicable to your school. Or perhaps you're a school that knows you definitely want to work with Chatteris, regardless of whether you receive any additional free resources. If this is the case, then you should complete our standard Chatteris English Development Programme application form, which is listed and detailed here, and we'll share this with you in the chat box as well.
So to summarize, we are a registered non-profit charitable organization, meaning that surplus income, if any, goes further towards our program development and service to less privileged young people. Our English tutors are motivated and matched to best impact students at your school inside and outside the classroom. We have a strong quality assurance component to our program, supported by a team of experienced management staff who can also offer additional manpower and services to your school. We take responsibility for the administrative requirements of hiring and onboarding quality English tutors. There are often challenging aspects of hiring an English tutor, including visa sponsorship, medical checks, and other support. And finally, we have programs that allow us to provide an additional free funded English tutor or interns in your school if your school meets our requirements under our 1-for-1 Adopt a School program or Chatteris Empower. And if you have any other questions about Chatteris or the 3 new opportunities for schools, you can ask them right now, or you can contact us after the session using the contact details provided on the slide. And we would also appreciate if you could provide us with some feedback about today's session. And if you have a moment, please scan the QR code or use a link in the chat box. This will help us better prepare for the next online session for schools.
I think there is a question from Ms. Choi.
I'll start with Ms. Choi and then we can kind of go up. Mariana, maybe you can focus on the question above. So from Ms. Choi, are the tutors from different professional backgrounds, not particularly from the education field? How much experience or training do they have in teaching English? So about 70, I think at the moment about 70 to 75% of our tutors come from the United Kingdom. So the majority of our tutors come from the United Kingdom, and they come from a range of different educational backgrounds. However, the majority are kind of humanities subjects typically. We don't tend to hire that many STEM graduates, for example. They often have some educational experience. Maybe they've had some tutoring roles in the past, for example, but you might have a tutor with no educational experience or teaching experience. How do we cope for that? Well, first of all, we really look closely at the interview process. So we do an intense 2-hour, two-session interview. So we do interview 1 and interview 2, where we get to kind of know the tutor a little bit more. And then when they arrive in Hong Kong, we have 3 weeks of intensive training before they get placed into the school. But then we don't just leave the tutor in the school and hope for the best. The tutor comes to the Chatteris office once a month for additional professional development and training. And then our program management team and our other senior members, such as Mariana, myself, and Margaret, will also visit your school once a month to provide feedback and further development to the tutor. So we do have a very robust system to ensure that if we have the right personality, the right energy, the right motivation in our tutors, we can provide the training for them. Mariana.
Yeah, sure. There is one more question in the chat box. Can the school ask the tutors to work on duties other than English teaching or English activities like patrolling the school or invigilation? It depends. I want to say yes, but I also want to be very careful here. So we would probably need to work to discuss this, with your school in more detail and see exactly how much time these duties will take. Our tutors often support schools with exam invigilation. Actually, secondary schools just had the exams. Some of our primary schools actually are having the exams this week. So quite a few of our tutors are supporting local staff with exam invigilation. They receive training on what they need to be doing during the time. However, we ask that our tutors are not involved in exam grading, since they're not qualified English teachers in most cases, and as Ben has just mentioned, they act as teaching assistants in schools, so they should not be giving formal grades to students. However, they can provide developmental feedback to students, especially, for example, on their speaking skills. So very often, for example, for secondary schools, when secondary school students are preparing for DSC exams, or for primary schools, when primary students are preparing for P6 interviews, our tutors provide a lot of support to them, and they also provide developmental feedback, focusing on their strength and focusing on areas that could be developed, could be improved. I'm deviating a little bit from the question, but I would say yes, our tutors can support with invigilation and maybe other more administrative matters, but we definitely want to make sure that their main focus is English activities and developing students' English skills. So we would need to discuss it in more detail once the partnership is confirmed, or during our initial conversation as well. That's also something probably worth mentioning here. Once you reach out to us and express your interest in partnering with us, then Ben, Margaret, myself, sometimes all 3 of us, sometimes just 2 of us based on availability, will visit your school, and we will have a meeting, probably with the English panel head, or the school principal, if available, or any other relevant members of the team, and we can discuss the program in more detail, and not only Chatteris program, but also the school's expectations. And we are quite flexible, so we can discuss those specifics in that initial consultation meeting. But if you have any other questions specific to your schools, please feel free also to stay behind after the session today, or you can also just send an email, and then we will analyze your specific request and maybe give you a more detailed answer.
We now have Josephine with us, so I'll pass over to Josephine and to Margaret.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Josephine.
Yes.
I'm so sorry for all the technical problem because of my school very poor connection. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Josephine from Hong Kong Secondary School. And I'm happy to have a chance to share why we would like to get the CNES from Chatteris and what our CNES usually do at our school today. If you have any questions after the sharing, please feel free to ask me. First of all, we have been getting additional NEC from Chatteris since 2020. And before that, as my previous panel had told me before, we did partner with Chatteris many years ago. Before I share our own experience of partnering with Chatteris, let me tell you some background information about our school. Our school is in Changkwon, and the majority of our students are not good at English. They are very shy, and some students are from mainland too. And the English level is not good enough for them to secure a safe pass in HKDSE. This year, we have two CNES from Chatteris that the CNES were trained by Chatteris aim to empower our students with enhanced English proficiency. And since our students are quite weak at English and most of them lack family support, they are not very confident enough to speak in English. Having CNES from Chatteris can enable our English department to organize more different kinds of English activities during lunchtime, and so as to enrich our English environment in our school campus. As you can see, we have got two CNES from different countries. They mainly take up the following roles, like having English lessons, especially speaking lessons with our students, organizing regular lunchtime English activities from Monday to Friday, helping the school to organize some whole school activities, like some school tours for primary school students, and training English ambassadors, and also being responsible for the English drama club at school. Perhaps you may ask some questions like, what distinguishes a CNEP from other English teachers, including the CNES from EDB? And why did you choose to collaborate with Chatteris? Let me answer the question one by one. First of all, our CNES, our net from EDB has long been allocated to teach GE classes at my school. So that means she is not free enough to teach or cover the English lessons across the forms from Form 1 to Form 6. Having CNES can enable the English department to allocate some lessons to the students, so that all students can have a chance to attend the speaking lessons given by a native speaker. That means all students have a chance to mingle with the foreigners from time to time. And this is very important as this can boost their speaking confidence. Secondly, they are from different countries and usually very young. The CNES, have no generation gap with our students when they mingle with our students at lunchtime or during recess. Most of our students just treat them like elder brother or sister, and this helps the students a lot because they can be more confident as they like talking to their friends. Thirdly, they are from different countries, so that means they can share their home cultures with our students. Our students will have more exposure when communicating with them. And let me just move on to the second question. Why did we choose to collaborate with Chatteris? First and foremost, each CNET is supported by a team of staff from Chatteris. And the managing team, they visit the school to have lesson observation regularly to ensure teaching quality. As you know, some of the CNETs may be very young, and with the support given by Chatteris, the CNETs can get used to the new teaching environment very easily. And also, the management team provides lots of training workshops for our CNETs from time to time to empower their teaching methodologies. We can also get a lot of useful materials from Chatteris, since Chatteris has a very huge network with other companies or entrepreneurs in Hong Kong. So the partner schools like us, especially for those who join the one-for-one program, can definitely get a lot more resources from Chatteris or from its network. And eventually, our students can have a chance to join a lot more meaningful English activities so as to have more exposure to learn English and to boost their English proficiency. Coming next will be the challenges, faced by some CNETs and also our department. Seeing our students are not very motivated in learning English, so the CNETs may have to spend a lot more time to engage students in the lessons by providing more creative activities. But the seniors are very good enough, okay? They can brainstorm and organize a lot of fun English activities in class. So that will not be a problem for them if your students are not very motivated. And another problem, maybe the discipline problem. Luckily, our students are very well behaved, and we have got a very strong discipline team to support us. And because of the class size is not very big in our school, so the discipline problems in our school are not very serious. So in a word, the school management team and also the English teachers can really see a lot of changes among students, especially from the very weak ones. At the very beginning, they were not very willing to talk to the native speakers, but now, okay, when they see the CNES, they will say hi to the foreign teachers willingly and then confidently, and then they will start talking to the CNES, okay, at lunchtime and during recess. So our school is very happy to see all these changes, and this shows our students' improvements in learning English as well. Yes, and in terms of their learning attitudes and also motivation. So let's see whether you have got any question to ask. That's all for my sharing today.
Thank you very much, Josephine.
Thank you.
It's a bit rushed. I know that I've just wasted you guys a lot of time because I just went to different places to get the connection, but I failed. So that's why I'm using
It's okay, Josephine. We use some of your time for a Q&A session. So we have another Q&A in the chat box.
All right, these are very good questions. Thank you for asking. So the first one, will the tutors work full-time in the school? And the answer is yes. The tutors are deployed for 40 hours, Monday to Friday, approximately 8 hours per day, but they're quite flexible. You know, on some, the schedule doesn't have to be exactly the same. The working hours don't have to be exactly the same every day. It really depends on what activities you have, if you have any after-school clubs scheduled on particular days, but the overall working hours should be no more than 40 hours a week. So yes, the answer is full-time. And our school has already developed a school-based language program, which is co-taught by local teachers and native English teachers. Could we arrange the tutors to teach this program? And the answer is also yes. A lot of our tutors co-teach with local teachers, and they also follow the either the EDB curriculum for some schools or the school-based curriculum. Some schools prefer to give tutors the flexibility and ask them to design resources. That's also okay. So it really depends on your school's needs. So they can either design their own resources or they can deliver the resources provided by your school. If the school would like them to, they can also design some additional activities or games to go with the existing resources. But if you would prefer to stick to the curriculum and not make any changes, that's also okay. But then we would appreciate if you could give them some flexibility outside the classroom so they can use their creativity to design some resources for extracurricular activities.
In regards to question 3, how we should budget for the sponsoring the tutors, it is 295,000 Hong Kong dollars for a tutor to work full-time in your school for a period of 1 academic year. In terms of kind of how different schools utilize and kind of source funding for that, it really is varied depending on your particular school. But if you'd like to talk with us during your application process, we can give you some advice on kind of different pools of funding that in the past schools have utilized to fund a tutor. So in conclusion, question 1, yes, that's fine, full-time. Question 2, they can certainly work alongside your existing programs that you've created. And question 3, 295,000 Hong Kong dollars is the cost of a tutor. For Pauline, your question, do you have any experience serving primary schools? Absolutely, yes. We've worked with primary schools for as long as we have worked with secondary schools, for now 32 years. We work with schools with various English proficiencies in Hong Kong. We work with schools such as Baptist Lu Ming Choi Primary School in City 1 in Sha Tin. And we also work with schools such as Li Ping Memorial Primary School, which is in Kowloon. So we work with a real range of different types of schools. Any other questions?
Are there any questions for Josephine?
We have some questions for Josephine. Josephine, so far under the one-for-one program, you've experienced a few different additional activities. I'm wondering if any in particular stand out in your mind. So you've had some charities like WISE, the charity focused on women in sports, come to your school. I think you've also had sports clubs. We've taken students on hikes, I believe. I think next week I'm coming to your school to deliver a leadership activity with some volunteers. So I'm just curious, kind of what's your standout activity so far that you've enjoyed?
I think will be the WISE program, because some of my students, they did join the WISE program and in the English lessons, and they could really learn English, okay, through some sports activities. And most of my students love sports very much, and they can really learn English in a different way. And not only girls, but the boys also love the lessons very much. And also we could have a chance to join different workshops and also activities like the one we went to the Jingle House last time. Our students had a lot of exposure to talk to the volunteers from the Finch group. So they've got eye-opening experiences. And I'm so happy to have Chatteris organizing or supporting us so that our students, okay, from not very good family background, they can have a chance to talk to different people from society, and they really have a lot of reflection after joining these activities. You have got a very, very huge and good network for organizing all these English activities for my students.
Wonderful, thank you. And yes, I think it's always lovely because your students are very engaged in sporty activities, so we enjoy coming to visit to deliver those. Mariana, do you have a question for Josephine?
Yes, Josephine, previously you only had one self-sponsored tutor at your school for 8 years, if I remember correctly, and this year is the first year that you have 2 tutors at your school. Yes, so what differences have you observed in terms of English activities or impact on your students?
Oh, with one more extra CNET, okay, in our school, we have got a lot more opportunities. Our students have a lot more opportunities to talk to the CNET. And like Steve, okay, he's a very experienced CNET, okay, he could really arouse students' interest in learning English. And he's good at organizing different kinds of activities at lunchtime, like having football leagues, okay, with students. And our students really love them, even though they're very weak ones. They are willing to talk to them and play football with them. And with Marta, she's from Portland, okay, she can really share her own culture with our students. I think our students are not very familiar with the culture from Portland. So I think it's something new to them.
Thank you very much.